Aloha, everybody. My name is Nancy. What if I told you that every ounce of negativity, both internal and external negativity, could be the fuel for your awakening and spiritual liberation? Ha! It's absolutely possible. Let's look at negativity. Let's look at transforming negative emotions, disturbing emotions, into pure energy, because it is based in pure energy. One of the most important things to really look at in terms of really fully waking up is to understand the nature and the substance of your own mind. And by mind, one of my favorite definitions of mind is that mind is essentially a sum total of consciousness, a sum total of consciousness that's characterized by will, thought, and feeling. There's the mind. When you start to exercise discernment and awareness and observation of your own mind, your emotions, and all of the dynamics of that, you then are potentially in a place to master your mind, to master your energy in that way, because energy follows thought and thought follows energy. So if we look at the disturbing emotions, let's just look at two approaches for disturbing emotions and potentially transforming them. Number one, as soon as a negative feeling is upon you, don't avoid it. Feel it. See if you can relinquish the thoughts that are going with it. Just drop the thoughts going with it and just breathe and feel. If you breathe and feel in awareness, in present awareness, that energy, that tightness, that contraction has the capacity to move. That's number one. That's a really straightforward way to shift that. If that doesn't happen, then there's two potential things happening there. Those negative emotions are either directive or destructive, meaning that they are directing you to something, or that they are simply an indulgent, destructive mode of being. Let's look at directive. And let's just take a negative emotion. Let's take anger. Say you're really, really angry, right? Well, usually anger is going to be in relationship to an object. That object can be maybe even a thought or an idea that somebody else said. It can be angry to a person, relationship to a person. Sometimes we can be angry with ourselves. It's at full gamut. Anger is a big one, right? One of the things with anger that is great to look at is that anger often comes from, a lot of it can be frustrated expectations, unmet expectations. So if you start to look at what even some of your expectations are with anger, let's say it's in relationship and communication with someone. Everybody has relationships, and everybody has some expectation in all of their relationships, especially those familiar ones. So if you acknowledge the anger once again and allow it to be present, no judgment, especially in your own being, the self-compassion, let self-compassion replace self-judgment. Much, much better. Sometimes the judgment can just be hard and condemning. Self-compassion, it's suffering. You're suffering something. So allow that and allow that to be there. Feel the anger, feel through it, and get clear about your expectations. Then there may be an expression or a communication to somebody else, which once that is free of negative emotion and done in clarity, usually goes. It's a much better, and it's more empowered, actually more authentic. We tend to emotionally communicate a lot, which is fine. especially in some of the really goodness ones, because that's more in line with your true nature, that innate positivity. The positivity is innate in your true nature. That's automatic. Once you eliminate the negativity, or transform and feel and understand and eliminate negativity, that innate natural positivity, the positive aspects of your nature, those shine forth. So directive, you maybe have been directed by those negative emotions, and in that way they're serving you. So if it's, get in there, discern a little bit, observe, what is this telling me? And listen and acknowledge, and then take action, a clear action. That's when negative emotion is serving. Now the other thing is destructive. Directive or destructive? Destructive. Destructive is when you constantly are thinking and indulging and feeling more and more and more of a spiral in relationship to whatever it is that you have potentially even fixated on. That's when the negative emotions become destructive, right? And you can get deeper into a spiral. So even if we look at even the feeling of anger, anger can be very destructive if it is not potentially moved into a transformative or more directed, clear way. Because we're looking at directing and clearing energy, right? It's all energy. So with the destructive thing, that's where you have to get very clear and even cutting within your own mind and within your own being. And that's when you have to ask yourself what you really want. What do you want? Because we think the investing and the constancy of the anger and all that. But that can get exhausting, and it can also be very depleting in energy and not very good on the physical body as well. So ask yourself what you really want. You can have the happiness of the present moment and recognize, as within the midst of that destructivity, that it is destructive and it's not the experience that you want to be having, because your feeling and what you feel is what your life experience winds up being. And so in terms of destructive emotions, it is destructive if there is not a clear point of action or resolution. Then you go, oh, I'm fixating and I'm indulging this. And then breathe. Take that breath, open up all the senses, and relax. And allow self-compassion, recognize the suffering of it. And have the self-love to know that you want something better for yourself. So anyway, that's what I wanted to share with you all today. Peace and aloha. And I hope that is helpful. Take care, everybody. See you next time.